I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. Maverick center Kristaps Porzingis sidelined a second straight game with right knee soreness. He won't play in Game 5 tonight against the Clippers, with the series tied at 2 games apiece. Paul George, as well as the Clippers, hoping tonight's the game he finally breaks out of his shooting funk. He's certainly the LA player under the most pressure, believes ESPN's Stephen A. Smith.
Paul George is averaging 15 on 29% shooting, 22% from three-point range. He's been virtually non-existent offensively. A matter of fact, he's damn near been offensive. And that's what he has to get together. And also, he's got to step up on both ends of the floor, because it's not just Kawhi that's accountable defensively. It's Paul George, too.
Clippers-Mavs Game 5, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. The Cardinals making Budda Baker the highest-paid safety in NFL history, giving him a 4-year, $59 million extension. Stanley Cup playoffs, injured Lightning defenseman Ryan McDonough out for Game 2 tonight against the Bruins. Soccer, Lionel Messi's informed Barcelona he wants to leave after nearly 2 decades with the Spanish club. This development 11 days after a season-ending 8-2 loss in the Champions League quarterfinals.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Muso. We're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. Brain out doing storm coverage. Moose back in today. We will have Rohan Davey in studio with us at 5 o'clock today to start hour 3. So we'll look forward to having Ro back in his usual Tuesday slot this football season. As it looks like we are going to have a football season, and we continue to inch closer and closer to that. So throughout the course of the day today, a ton that we're going to get into. No availability for the Saints today, but there was some news around the NFL that could very much impact the Saints offseason. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. But Ed Orgeron today, as I assume he will begin doing, had a Zoom meeting with the media. So apparently he's doing this on Tuesdays. This has sort of been his, I guess, designated media day, and they're making players available on Wednesdays and Thursdays as well. So just kind of getting into a new sort of normal. I know everyone says a new normal, but a new schedule for how we can expect availability out at LSU. But of great note today, of all the things that Ed Orgeron discussed, and there were many. I mean, he talked about the offensive and defensive lines. He talked about newcomers. He talked about planning for storms and how he's preparing his backup quarterbacks. And he talked about the battle for the third wide receiver spot, and on and on and on. I mean, he went deep dive today on a lot of topics. But of greatest note, perhaps it's that we need to put out an APB, an all-persons bulletin. Let everybody you know that can play defensive back, that DBU is in the market for a defensive back.
We are currently researching that if there's a cornerback or maybe a nickel corner out there that's available, we may take them, and we could use them right now because we're a little short. We're icing up a couple of guys because of hamstrings, and nothing major. But we feel good. We feel good when it comes game time that we're going to have some corners there. We're going to be ready to play.
Holy!
Showed up the most.
Sorry about that. Holy moly! Man, oh man, are you kidding me? LSU? DBU? In immediate need of a defensive back? All men willing and able? Send applications to recruiting at LSU. I don't know if that's actually the email address. So we know what happened here, right? So Kerry Vincent shows up to practice after coming back for his senior year. New defensive Bo Pelini. He looks around and goes, Well, Stingley's on one side. Looks and goes, well, Flott's on the other side. And then he looked at Elias Ricks and Jay Ward and Dwight McLaughlin and Raydarius Jones and all these guys that look like tarantulas and said, yeah, man, uncertain season, new defense, all these freak shows around. Maybe I should just go get ready for the draft. And I totally respect that. Totally respect that. But it's left LSU in a spot now where Ed's looking around going, I got a spot. Maybe I could fill it with a defensive back, a veteran defensive back. This is going to be so interesting to watch. So we already know that the NCAA is not going to grant transfer waivers this year because of COVID. They're not going to grant transfer waivers. Instead, what they're doing is awarding anybody an extra year of eligibility. Now, that's not really a great deal because there's a lot of guys that aren't going to stick around college for another year. You may have some guys that are interested in maintaining another year of eligibility and playing it out, but not everybody's going to be in that mix. So why? And I understand what the NCAA is doing. They're trying to maintain rosters. They're trying to make sure that rosters aren't gutted by this exodus of players that go and look for places to play. But if you're a grad transfer, if you're someone who is entering your senior season or is a grad transfer and thinking after the 2020 season, you're going to jump into the NFL and you don't want to stick in the Big Ten or Pac-12, given the uncertainty of this spring season or January season that may come. And realistically, if you are one of those players that's eyeing the NFL draft, why would you want to play in that season anyway in advance of the draft instead of going to combine and workouts? All the things we talked about. There is a pool of players undoubtedly, juniors that have graduated in 3 years or seniors from those conferences that have played a lot of football that would make a ton of sense to jump aboard with LSU, play a season in the SEC, put some film out against some of the best talent in the country, join the champs, maybe have a chance to win another ring, and then go off to the NFL. And the timing makes this interesting as well. Consider this, though. A couple of years back, Terrence Alexander joined LSU as a grad transfer. You remember that story. He was a John Curtis guy, went to Stanford, played out his time at Stanford, had a year of eligibility, came to LSU, finished there and backup role. Ended up starting in that bowl game, if you remember, because they were so decimated because of injuries and opt-outs. That was July the 11th when Terrence Alexander signed with LSU. That felt late, and that was July. Now we're at the end of August. But it is worth mentioning that you do every year have transfers once training camp begins or fall camp begins. Remember when Justin McMillan, when Burrow came here in 2018 and McMillan and Lowell Narcisse, boom, boom, in consecutive days transferred out? Justin McMillan committed to Tulane on August the 24th of that year, of 2018. So 2 years ago yesterday. So my point is, and that was a week before their opener. You still got 4 weeks. 4 weeks from Saturday, from this coming Saturday. So if you can identify a player, close the deal, get them on campus within a week, you're talking about still having a month to get them acclimated to your system, how they fit in your defense, and see if you can have a veteran guy on the field. Makes a lot of sense, man. There are Liam Shanahan's and Jabril Cox's. Maybe not Cox, who might well be a first-round pick, but Shanahan, who was an all-conference player, has played a ton of football over 4 years at Harvard and had another year to go. Bring him in at a position of need. Why not do the same thing at defensive back right here? I mean, I'll give you an example. I'm not saying this is a guy that would do it, but I'll give you an example of the type of player we're talking about. Malik Antoine, who's been on the show a couple times. Kid from Baton Rouge, went to U High, went to Stanford. Well, he's going into his 5th year. He redshirted his first year. He's a starter at safety. He's a team captain. Well, now he's not going to have his fall season. Theoretically, a guy like that could join LSU, hit the ground running, play a season, and get into the draft come spring. And there's not a tremendous shortage of guys like that. It's just identifying who's willing to make that jump on short notice and jump aboard with LSU. Ed Orgeron, it's worth mentioning, did elaborate on that cornerback position. They're not threadbare. They just have the luxury of having an open spot. Remember, back in February, they signed 22. Since then, They've added Jabril and Liam Shanahan, so they're up at 24. So you could do one of two things. If there's a player available, sign him now, or hold the spot for this coming class and backfill. Either way, you're going to add a really good player. But if there's, as Ed said, if there's a player available that can help you now, why not take a look? But here's how Ed went through the rest of the cornerback depth chart.
Yeah, we're really pleased with Cordell Flott. I think that Cordell Flott has solidified himself as a starter, either in the nickel package or in the base package where he can play corner. Jay Ward is coming along. He's doing well. Obviously, we got Stingley and Elias Ricks, who's the best cornerback in the country. He's coming. He had a shoulder injury in the spring. He hadn't practiced. Man, you can see him getting better and better every practice. And Dwight McGlothern is an excellent tall corner. He is tough. He is like glue on the receivers, breaks on the ball well. So I think we're a little short. We have one scholarship left.
So one scholarship left, but you got a lot of guys that you like there. We'll see if they can fill the spot here soon to get someone on campus. See if you can fill that spot vacated by Kerry Vincent, add a little veteran depth to DBU. So put out that APB. Hey, if you know anybody who played DB back at Shaw in 84, and they still got some eligibility and a little giddy up, Coach O wants to hear from you. Okay, maybe not that much of a stretch. They're going to find somebody. You better believe the phone's going to ring. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net, or you can call them right now. Better coverage for less money, 293-0450, 293-0450. Better coverage, less money, Insurance Network of Louisiana. All right, let me knock out a quick break. The Saints are going to have a very interesting decision to make this offseason with respect to signing some of its free agents. And one of those potential signings became more complicated today. And we'll discuss that when we come back next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. Of course, we've got a storm in the Gulf right now, and we're all hopeful that Laura behaves and steers clear of us. But if you are going through hurricane prep, if you need supplies, hammers, nails, garbage bags, floodlights, whatever it may be, gas cans, things along those lines, whatever you'd find at a hardware store, remember you can find at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day, Clegg's Nursery has been in our community for more than 60 years, and they're here to help. If you're planting, of course, their horticulturists can help. You want to protect your family and your property from mosquitoes, they've got the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator that you hear me talk so much about, but they also have, in times like this, what you need for hurricane prep. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Jani-King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Reminder, you can always watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. While you're there, you can comment in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat for all of our shows here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We appreciate Bayou Ford for bringing us that YouTube chat. So get your questions or comments in there on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Subscribe and hit the bell. Saints, thank you, Muso. The Saints have placed Johnson Batamosi on injured reserve. Played a handful of games. I think it was 4 games for the Dolphins and 6 games for the Saints last year. 10 total tackles for the season, mostly a special teams player. But he had a foot injury, went on to IR last year. Apparently that foot injury has lingered, and that's why he's been on the PUP list. And so the Saints now have placed him on IR. So you can be activated off of IR. It's unlikely that the Saints would choose to activate Johnson Batamosi off of IR. Mostly what this does is it frees up a roster spot as you continue to cut that roster down to 53. But it frees up a roster spot and weeds out another player that's trying to make the roster as a special teamer. And it opens up the door more so for some of those receivers and defensive backs that are trying to hang on and make the team as a special teamer and a backup at those positions. So some of that long list of wide receivers that we talk about, guys trying to make the team, a guy like a Marquez Callaway, who may have to make this team on special teams. Maybe this is a benefit there. Or maybe it's one of the young defensive backs as well. Now we've seen Tino Ellis and Johnson Batamosi, 2 defensive backs off the team now due to injury. So Saints thinning out a bit there at corner, but they need to get there ultimately. So we'll keep you posted as they continue to pare down the roster to move towards the final cuts before the season opener. One guy who certainly is going to make the roster is Marcus Williams. We know that. He's been one of the best safeties in the NFL during his 3 years in the NFL. And something happened that is going to impact Marcus Williams and his future in New Orleans. Today, the Arizona Cardinals have reached an extension with Budda Baker. So Budda Baker now becomes one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL. If you look at his annual compensation at $14.75 million, his is the highest annual contract. Total value of the deal is 4 years, $59 million. The largest deal is Landon Collins, who got a 6-year, $84 million contract, and Kevin Byard got a 5-year, $70.5 million contract. So total value, Collins and Byard are bigger, but Budda Baker in the annual compensation now has the record. Marcus Williams, of course, is entering his 4th season. He will be a free agent after the 2020 season. So the Saints have a decision to make on Marcus Williams. And I know some of you right now always default to the Minneapolis Miracle. I get it. I get why that's the thing that's stuck in your brain as Marcus Williams' defining moment in his time in New Orleans. Because it is the singular defining moment of his time in New Orleans. The question is, if you're Mickey Loomis, if you're Sean Payton, if you're Kai Harley, and you're thinking of how you're going to piece together this roster and do so financially in a year where we are going to see a decreased salary cap due to the impact of COVID, something that's probably going to land near the $175 million range. And you have to be very cautious about where you spend money in a lower cap year. How much are you willing to invest in Marcus Williams? How much are you willing to invest in Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore and Ryan Ramczyk? Let's not forget, Lattimore, Ramczyk, first-round picks. Their fifth-year option has been exercised, so they're under contract next year no matter what. Obviously, you don't want next year to pass and them to hit free agency, and then you're in a bidding war. But guys like Kamara and guys like Marcus Williams, you have to decide sooner. Now, it's possible that New Orleans could work their cap magic like they've done so many times. And over the years, how we've talked about, there is no such thing as cap hell because the Saints have found a way to continue kicking the can down the road. They'll restructure contracts. They'll convert salary into signing bonus, pay up front, and spread the signing bonus over years. They'll get creative with the way they've done contracts where they'll sign someone like, remember they did this with Nick Fairley. They signed him to like a 3-year deal that was void after year one, so that way they could spread the contract over 3 years, but really only pay him for one. I mean, it's whatever you can do to manipulate the cap. The Saints have found a way to do that over the years. And I'll be very interested to see if they do the same thing here with Marcus Williams. Now, I want to point something out first before we go any further, because I know there are going to be some people rolling their eyes, goes, Marcus Williams stinks, let him walk. And part of me, why I wouldn't have gone that far, my first reaction when I saw Budda Baker's contract, 4 years, $59 million, $14.75 million per year, I thought, why are we even having this conversation? Like, why would Marcus Williams garner that kind of money? So I said, well, let me just do my due diligence. Like, let me dig and see if this actually holds up. Like, if Marcus Williams is in that category to be paid among the elite safeties in the NFL. Or is he a good, not great safety that doesn't even deserve to be in the conversation of this? And another factor to keep in mind is Jamal Adams is going to get paid by Seattle as well. So while Budda Baker just got paid, the Jets traded Jamal Adams to Seattle, and you know Seattle is going to extend him. So Jamal Adams is likely going to reset the market, be it in total value or in your annual value. So here's what I found on Williams. And I don't want to throw a ton of numbers out because I know on radio numbers confuse people. It's hard to follow. But I'm going to do my best to simplify this because I'm going to make a compelling case, what I find to be a compelling case anyway, of why Marcus Williams deserves to be paid among the top safeties in the NFL. First of all, Pro Football Focus ranks Marcus Williams 5th in the NFL in coverage among safeties. Now, this is among players that played at least 300 snaps last year. And there are 68 safeties that played at least 300 snaps a year ago. Marcus Williams, of those 68, was 5th. 5th in coverage out of 68 safeties that played at least 300 snaps. So already you're talking about, in that one metric, among the best in the NFL. Now, you can roll your eyes and say, yeah, Matt, but it's Pro Football Focus. And I agree with that. I look at Pro Football Focus as one metric amid a very large conversation. I will never look at Pro Football Focus as the be-all, end-all, but it is an interesting metric to keep an eye on, to see what the computers and algorithms say about Marcus Williams or about any given player. So Pro Football Focus, Marcus Williams, 5th best safety in coverage among all safeties last year in the NFL that played at least 300 snaps. There were 68, so 5th out of 68. The flip side of that is, okay, Pro Football Focus is fine and good, but he plays a position where we actually have quantitative analysis. Like, we know how many tackles and sacks and interceptions and passes defended that he had. Like, there is a quantitative element. Like, I talk about this all the time, like with the ESPYs. We don't need the ESPYs because there are championships. Like, you need award shows for in cinema because you don't win championships in movies. That's why they have the Academy. They have the Academy Awards and all that stuff. This is different. I mean, I guess you could hand out an award based on movie ticket sales or box office numbers, but that's just not how it works. This is different. Like, we have quantitative data to know how good Marcus Williams is compared to the other best safeties in the NFL. So this is what I did. I looked at the 4 highest paid safeties in the NFL, the guys that are all making $14 million a year or more. So Harrison Smith of the Vikings is making $10.25. Then there's a big jump to Eddie Jackson at $14.6, Budda Baker at $14.75, Kevin Byard at $14.1, and Landon Collins at $14. So those are the 4 highest, and then in total value, they're backwards. It's Collins, Byard, Baker, and then Jackson. Marcus Williams most favorably compares to Eddie Jackson. When you look at their stat lines, both came into the league in 2017. Both have played 3 years in the NFL, entering their 4th year. One gigantic difference is that Eddie Jackson is 27 years old. Marcus Williams is 23. Marcus Williams is 4 years younger than Eddie Jackson, who got a 4-year, $58 million contract that pays him $14.6 million per year. Marcus Williams is 4 years younger than Eddie Jackson. They've both played in 46 games. Both, through 3 seasons, have 10 interceptions. Eddie Jackson has 2 sacks. Marcus Williams has 1. And through 3 years, Jackson has 184 tackles. Williams has 187. They are, on paper, the same exact player, except Marcus Williams is 4 years younger than Eddie Jackson. Would you like to, ask yourself this question. Would you like to have Eddie Jackson on your team? If the answer is yes, then I would say you'd actually prefer Marcus Williams because he's 4 years younger. He's 23 years old. Now, Landon Collins. I only looked at 2017, 18, 19. Okay, so just to compare the total number of statistics over those years. Marcus Williams got 10 interceptions. Landon Collins got 2. And Williams has played in 4 more games than Landon Collins. Now, Landon Collins has made 317 tackles. He's almost doubled the number of tackles that Marcus Williams made, but they're asked to do different things, obviously. Budda Baker, similar. 323 tackles, but Budda Baker has not intercepted a pass in the last 3 years. Marcus Williams has intercepted 10. We can hyper-focus on the Minneapolis Miracle, and I think what's happened is psychologically for us as we watch the Saints, we remember Marcus Williams had a stellar rookie year. He was incredible. And so much of that incredible rookie year was wiped. You know the saying, 1,000 attaboys go down the drain with 1 O bleep. That's kind of what happened. We wiped away Marcus Williams' amazing rookie year because of the Minneapolis Miracle. And then he did have a sophomore slump, but last year had a great rebound and was one of the best safeties in the NFL. By whatever metric you choose to look at, he was one of the best safeties in the NFL. On a defense where they obviously know how to use him, and he compares favorably to a guy in Eddie Jackson, who is, the biannual contract, the second highest paid safety in the NFL. Based on this, Marcus Williams' agent is going to have a really compelling argument when he goes and puts this in front of Mickey Loomis to say, my guy deserves to be paid like Eddie Jackson. They're basically the same player, but my guy's 4 years younger. And he's right. So that is what the market is going to command for Marcus Williams. The question is, are the Saints going to be willing to pay that? Because you know that when Ryan Ramczyk and Marshawn Lattimore's deals come due and you got to pay them next year at this time, you're going to set the market at corner and at right tackle. Are you going to set the market at safety as well? And you're also going to pay Alvin Kamara? Oh, by the way, Demario Davis is coming due as well. What do you do with an all-pro linebacker? I'm just saying, y'all. You can't pay everyone. Marcus Williams is going to command money among the top 4 or 5 safe, that $14 million per year range. He's going to be in that range. He's earned it. He compares to those guys. It's just, are the Saints going to be the team that's willing to pay them? That pay him? Or do the Saints look for an inexpensive replacement in the draft, like we've seen them do time and time again? I was not expecting to have this conversation about Marcus Williams, but it adds up. He's a guy that's going to be paid top dollar and deserves to be paid top dollar. The only question is, are the Saints the team that's going to pay him top dollar? All right, that's further review. Well, I got a quick break, go around the SEC when we come back. Glad you're hanging out on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. They're online at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. I tell you all the time about the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Of course, the Mayo Clinic, one of the foremost medical centers in the entire world. Some of the greatest specialists walking the face of planet Earth. And as part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, your caregiver here in Baton Rouge, at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, can collaborate with the specialists at the Mayo Clinic and access their world-class and world-renowned research at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. Better care, world-class care at no extra cost to you. And they have the exclusivity in this market as being a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org. The Baton Rouge General and the Mayo Clinic working together. Learn more. brgeneral.org.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And I built it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month, or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month, or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rohan Davey will be with us in studio in hour 3. We look forward to having Ro here. AP All-America preseason team announced today. Congrats to a couple of LSU Tigers who were named preseason All-America today. As you would expect, both Jamar Chase and Derek Stingley named first team preseason All-America by the Associated Press. So that's not the surprise like we talked about last week. I think the bigger question is going to be who has a chance at the end of the season to be on that list. I really think you're going to see somebody in that defensive front seven have the opportunity to make that list, mostly because when you look at the All-Americans, 11 All-America first-teamers are not slated to play this year. So, I mean, you run through, especially on defense, Kayvon Thibodeau, who's a defensive end from Oregon, Gregory Rousseau, linebacker, you've got Micah Parsons from Penn State. You've got Hamaclar Rashed from Oregon. You got a lot of options at defensive front seven. If Jabril Cox can splash and have a 110 tackle type season on a team that goes 10-0 or 9-1, I think he's got an awesome opportunity to be a first-team All-American as well this year. So, and then the other one I'll mention too is Zach Von Rosenberg. I think all the specialists. I think we talked about this last week as well. You're looking at an opportunity for specialists who could have an opportunity to jump into that mix. Max Duffy of Kentucky is the preseason first-team All-America punter, but I think Zach Von Rosenberg would certainly have an opportunity. So we'll keep an eye on the specialists, the returners, but I really think you're going to keep an eye on LSU's defensive front seven in a year where Bo Pelini's defense is going to be focused on pinning your earbacks, go get the quarterback, wreak havoc, let your defensive front seven make plays. I just really think somebody has to emerge, and whoever that is on this team, in the way that Patrick Queen did a year ago, or Caleb Alchaslin did and flashed so many times during his career, whoever that guy is this year is going to have a great opportunity to win a lot of these national awards. It's also worth noting, we've talked a lot about the college football playoff, but remember, college football playoff awards a championship trophy, but so does the coaches poll, the American Football Coaches Association. The AFCA awards the Crystal Football, right? So you still get that trophy. That's the American Football Coaches Association trophy, the Amway Coaches Poll trophy. So, like if you go to football ops, LSU got a Crystal Football last year because that's the AFCA trophy for the coaches poll. So the AFCA did announce today, though, that they were going to have 65 coaches vote. Well, with only 76 programs playing of the 130, the coaches of schools that are not playing who had been awarded a vote this year have had their vote rescinded. So that leaves 42 coaches. There were going to be 65. Now there's 42 votes in the coaches poll. First poll is scheduled for September the 13th, and then it'll be released each Sunday through December the 20th. But this is the really interesting note. Should the season be cut short, the AFCA will make a determination regarding the awarding of the trophy and the declaration of a national champion. So they are not ruling out the possibility of awarding a national championship even if college football's postseason doesn't happen. They could essentially take the last coaches poll, whatever that looks like, and that from however much they play, and award a national championship. That would be wacky if it happened, but they're not ruling out the possibility. It would be, in effect, the same as, obviously, college basketball, their tournament, the NCAA tournament, is governed by the NCAA, but that would be like if the coaches wanted to award a national champion in basketball last year and just awarded it to who was the highest-ranked team in the country. Wasn't it Kansas going into the tournament, I think? Like, if they just named Kansas the national champion because they were the highest-ranked team going into the tournament. It would be, in effect, a similar thing, but it's something they're not ruling out if the season is cut short. So file that one away. Remember, it's a possibility. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. Let me remind you about GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, gmfsmortgage.com. Y'all, I was having a conversation this weekend with a buddy, and we were talking about this very thing. the fact that interest rates, this is what happens when you get older. Like you go to parties and you start talking about interest rates. That just hit me. That legit happened this weekend. I was at an engagement party and I was talking to a friend about interest rates. I'm such a nerd. But it doesn't matter because interest rates are at historic lows right now. Take advantage of them. More than 600 Louisianians called GMFS Mortgage and closed their loans last month. Be in that number this month. Maybe even if you refinance your mortgage, maybe you can even skip a mortgage payment or two, help you reset your finances, lower your monthly mortgage payment. It's GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
You want me to just say it? So take your time.
The Florida Gators.
There it is. Got him. The 4 Florida football players who opted out of the first week of practice are all now back with the Gators. So on Monday, wide receivers Kadarius Toney and Jacob Copeland practiced with the team for the first time. They joined wide receiver Trevon Grimes and defensive end Zachary Carter, who had missed the first week of practice but have now rejoined the team. Carter, Copeland, Toney, Grimes, all projected starters for the Gators.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Another projected starter who had opted out has opted back in. Linebacker Dimitri Moore, he says now he will play in the 2020 season after initially opting out over COVID concerns. His grandfather passed away due to COVID, and that led him to decide early on to opt out, but now he is returning. He is Vanderbilt's leading tackler last year. That means Vandy now will bring back all 11 starters on defense from a season ago. They still have place kicker Orrin Milstein opting out and offensive linemen Cole Clemens, Bryce Bailey, and Jonathan Stewart opting out due to COVID concerns.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas offensive line coach Brad Davis will not be present at team practices in the coming days. He was not seen at practice on Monday, and the team spokesman said Davis has a pre-existing condition that's knocked him out for a bit. Sam Pittman returned to his roots, coaching offensive line. He'd been an offensive line coach in the Division I level since 1994. Davis was the first official assistant coaching hire for Sam Pittman. Davis is a native of Baton Rouge, worked the last 2 seasons at Missouri, and the year before that was at Florida.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee football will be selling tickets to approximately 25% of the fans' seats at Neyland Stadium this season. Vol's first home game October 3rd against Missouri. Neyland, the 5th largest stadium in U.S. capacity. Students and active donors will, with season tickets, will get top priority for tickets. Season ticket holders could also choose to opt out for next season, and then they will not lose their seats.
The Missouri Tigers.
And Missouri basketball has landed its second commit for 2021. Comes from a familiar family. Caleb Brown is the younger brother of Mizzou sophomore Kobe Brown. Huntsville, Alabama native committed to Missouri over Minnesota, Ole Miss, Mercer, Grand Canyon, and Milwaukee. It's a strange group of teams. He's being recruited as a point guard, 6'6", not ranked among the national recruiting outlets. He is the second pledge for Missouri's 2021 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. Sorry about that, Moose. Gulf Coast Office Products. I was having such awful luck shooting the traditional way that time that I decided just to kind of shove it like that, and I just threw it right at Moose.
You decided to just throw it at me instead.
No, and when I do that, I just legit do it.
That is true.
Like when you would do the top of the hour updates, I would just try to hit you with like this. We tell the Ace Ventura 2, the spitball thing, right? Like I was just hitting you with papers just to try to make you mess up. But that wasn't what I was trying to do there. I was legit seeing if I could maybe have better luck. Range was all off today. Maybe it's the shirt. Is this shirt too boxy? I don't know. The sleeve roll thing.
It.
What's that?
I'm not wearing it, so I can't tell you.
I'm just asking if you think it looks boxy.
No.
It looks boxy. I think it falls nicely. It's a green shirt. Anyway, got my dead soxy on too. Check my dead soxy. Rohan's coming in today. Do you think he's going to hit me up? Well, not do you think. Of course he's going to hit me
Say
up.
absolutely.
How many pair of dead socksy do you think he's going to try to swipe from me? The answer is as many as
I was about to say, I'll set the over-under at 3.5.
Oh, God. He will try to take everything. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I now have moved into the new office. I got like a cabinet in there, and all my giveaway stuff is in there. The dead socksy that we give to guests, the Kentucky's Best Hemp that we have.
Giving him any of that yet?
No. He's
That's what it's going to be.
For sure. Anyway, deadsoxy.com. All guests on AFR get a gift from Dead Soxy. Rohan just gets a lot of Dead Soxy. I think his whole drawer is Dead Soxy. And then you know what he'll do? He'll send me a picture of his Dead Soxy. And I'm like, hey, don't send it to me. Tweet it. Like, give them the public. I don't care that you're wearing it.
We know Ro doesn't tweet.
I'm like, or post it on Facebook. He uses Facebook. He's like, man, that's your job. I'm like, no. Come on, man. That's why I give you this, so you can put them on and you go take a picture of it. You put it on social media so people can see it. That's how you generate organic buzz. Come on, man. You know, I'm not giving him any. I'm not doing it. Who am I kidding? I'm going to give him a bunch. All right, it's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com. Get on by, see our friends at Carriages in Bocage. Look, I get it. I mean, we're moving through August, and we're almost to September, which is crazy, but you walk outside and it's 90 degrees. Well, today the high was 89. It's 82 right now, but it still feels like summer. So you still got some summer weather. You can still wear your summer apparel. You want to wear some summer shoes? They got you. Sunglasses, hats, they got you covered. Look, we were in the pool last night. You want to go pick up a swimsuit? They got a great selection from names and brands you know and love, like Vineyard Vines and Peter Millar and Faraday brand. Maybe you're hitting the beach for a late summer beach trip or a long vacation, long weekend at the beach. Get on by and see our friends at Carriages in Bocage before you get on the road. They've got the Peter Millar performance gear. It's moisture wicking. It's summer comfortable, a breathable, quick dry fabric. They're all at Carriages in Bocage. They got amazing designs. It's Carriages in Bocage or carriagesbr.com. Tell them Matt sent you in to Carriages in Bocage.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz, Vans.
You know that I got it. Yeah. You know that I got it. Yeah. All this game up in my pocket. Bet that you can't stop it. You know that I got it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Our friends at WBRZ Television have just put out their latest Hurricane Laura advisory. We don't really do storm coverage here. I just find this kind of funny that we shut down school for a week. Everything's closed. Businesses are closed. People are going crazy. Jim Cantori's here. Laura's like in Texas. Pull that up, Paul. Like, look, the track. And listen, I don't let me backtrack a little bit because I don't want to make light of this. Because Laura is projected to make landfall Thursday in the early morning hours, like 1 a.m. Thursday, as a Cat 3 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 115 miles an hour. That is a gigantic storm that, if it continues at this projected path, is going to affect a lot of people. So I don't want to make light of that. So from that end, I apologize. We do tend to overreact too soon to things like this. This happened last year with Hurricane Barry, if you remember. Everybody's off school, everything's shut down. It's a nice breezy day. Same with Marco. Now it appears Laura's going to skirt Baton Rouge, which, not that I would wish ill upon any other area, but certainly for a storm this size to miss New Orleans is a very good thing. So this does look like it's taken a similar path that Rita did back in 2005, which is sobering because Rita was devastating. There was so much national focus on Katrina in New Orleans, but Rita was devastating to the southwest part of the state, parts of East Texas. So to everyone who is in the path, please stay safe. If you're not, like us, can we go back to school and stuff like that? All right, let's have further review. Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban, both upset for different reasons. Nick Saban did his best to wag his finger at the people who are saying all these decisions are being made with nothing but financial ends in mind.
I really appreciate the fact that we have a lot of people out there working really hard, because this is about the players. When it comes, it's not about it's not about everybody acts like we want to play for the money. We want to play for the players. I want to play for the players. We have a lot of guys on our team that can create a lot of value for themselves by playing this season. You mean
money?
Can create a lot of value, and these guys have worked very hard to try to create and accomplish something as a team. So all those things to me are important to the players, and I want to play for the players. I know it's important to the fans. I love our fans. I love the way they support our team. They're a part of our team. We want them to continue to be a part of our team in whatever way that they can. But this is really about providing an opportunity for the players if we can do it in a safe way.
I think it's disingenuous to say it's not about the money. And maybe we're just arguing semantics here, but I think the better way to state it is it's not only about money. And I can believe that because I do believe that a lot of the incentives here are to reward the young student athletes who work very hard in the offseason to have an opportunity to showcase themselves and their team during the fall. I mean, you practice to play the game. Nobody participates in a sport just for practice. You want to compete. So to that end, I do understand it. But it's naive and disingenuous to say that there aren't financial implications here or that that's not a motivator. The bottom line is, as we've seen, without football, many of these athletic departments cease to exist as they currently do. So there is a massive financial stake in this decision to move forward. It has to pair with the safety angle to where you feel like you can do it responsibly. And if you do, then I'm all for it. Go ahead and play. But let's not sit here and act like this is only about, doing good and doing right by college athletes who want a chance to go play their game. It's very, very, very much money motivated. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Here comes Sports Center, and then we'll kick off Hour 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's what you'll find at Shawbills. That has been the pledge that Shawbills has made for more than 50 years. They will find you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. And once you go in to buy your tires, they know that you'll come back year after year after year, decade after decade, because they treat you like family, and nobody will treat you better than at Shawbills. That's been their pledge since they opened their door. And right now, during the COVID-19 outbreak, Shawbills is here for you. They are fully operational at all locations. They can handle anything you have going on with your vehicle. They can also handle vehicle pickup for customers if you need that. Call in advance or check them out online to request that service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Blazers star Damian Lillard will not play in Game 5 tomorrow against the Lakers because of a sprained right knee. Portland is down 3-1. 2 days after his buzzer-beating 3 in an overtime victory, Luka Doncic leads the Mavericks against the Clippers in a crucial Game 5 tonight. He's earned high praise from the likes of Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and LeBron James. He's certainly worthy of all of it, notes senior NBA writer Mark J. Spears.
That's a bad boy, bro.
Wow.
Hey, man, I love Zion and Ja and all that, and that's cool, but we need to start, in terms of these young dudes, we need to start putting this cat on a pedestal. He's proven, and he's for real.
Mark Spears with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Dallas center Kristaps Porzingis out with knee soreness. Game 5, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Mavs and Clippers tied 2-2. The Lions canceled today's practice to protest the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man in Wisconsin. Instead, players addressed reporters as a team to deliver a message they'll be part of the change in the United States against police brutality.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Muso. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Rohan Davey in studio 1 hour from right now. A lot to get to. Tigers and the pros later this hour as well. And glad you're hanging out with us here. So I guess this is kind of how the schedule is going to go for the rest of fall camp, is that Ed Orgeron will have Tuesday media availability via Zoom. So that happened today, and Coach O met with the media and answered questions. He was asked about his statement that he released regarding the Darius Guy situation, and he said, I released my statement, that's all I'm going to say about it, which as we talked about last week, I think was more than he needed to say about it. And the reason, honestly, is because if you start replying to every unfounded accusation from an anonymous former player, then all it's doing is lending legitimacy to it. However, I can understand if that was something that other coaches were using against you in recruiting or something along those lines, that you feel compelled to say something publicly, and Ed Orgeron did, and I think he said exactly what he needed to say, and it doesn't need any more justification. Beyond that, everything became preparing during these storms in the Gulf and then looking at the team. And here was Ed Orgeron giving a quick kind of update about what their plans are this week with the storms in the Gulf.
We are paying attention to the weather. We're still practicing. If anything gets too dangerous for our football team, obviously we will not practice. But it looks like we're about to practice all week right now, and our plans are to practice all week. And we'll take it day by day.
So the Tigers practice Monday, again today on Tuesday. They have plans to practice tomorrow. And then, as Ed Orgeron has described, they've been taking Thursday off and then practicing Friday. Well, Thursday looks like it would be the day where if we had inclement weather due to Laura, that would likely be the day, with Laura set to make landfall in the early morning hours Thursday. So that actually could work out really well. And if there were inclement weather, because of outer bands, heavy rain, you could always go to the indoor facility. But as of now, it looks like Baton Rouge and the capital region largely is going to avoid a direct hit from Laura, which is certainly a good thing. Ed Orgeron did dive deep into a lot of other conversations about some of the positions. And one of the odd things, not being able to see the team, and normally when we go out, even if it's for that 15 or 20 minutes that we would get to see of practice, you could at least see depth chart, you could see physicality. There are tidbits that you can pluck away from watching those things, even though you're not watching team period. We're void of that now, so essentially it's just what practice video LSU will release and the things that Ed Orgeron is comfortable disclosing, which he is a pretty candid coach as far as major college football coaches go. He will tell you if things are happening. I mean, last week, Ed Orgeron disclosed that Austin Deculus is out for a couple of weeks. He didn't disclose exactly why, but just that he's not there practicing. That's something we would have never known had he not disclosed it, because no one's out there watching practice right now. But Ed Orgeron did talk about and was asked about the thing that we've talked about a lot here, which for me is the most interesting part of this entire team this year. Miles Brennan notwithstanding, it's defensive end. Moving from a 3-4 to a 4-3, who plays that position? Here was an update from Coach O.
You know, I really like Andre. I really like the work that he's doing. Travez Moore is starting at left end right now. It's Travez's senior year. He's done a good job. And behind him is Ali Gay, who's done a tremendous job. And then the freshman, B.J. Ojulari, again, yesterday he had 4 or 5 sacks. And you're going to see him on third down. He's definitely considered a starter in the rotation. Phillip Webb is doing well. So those guys are looking good. Jarrell Cherry, we moved in to defensive tackle. Sony could play defensive end or defensive tackle. Those are 2 guys that are having a tremendous camp. Their opportunity has come. They're showing us that they can do some things.
You hear a lot of names there, and the concerning part is you don't know any of them because none of them have played. Travez Moore starting, backed up by Ali Gay, who's a JUCO transfer. They love B.J. Ojulari as a third down pass rusher. Remember, they have found packages for guys like this throughout the years. Kendall Beckwith. If you remember Kendall Beckwith's freshman year, before he moved to inside linebacker, he was so athletic. They found third down edge rush packages for Kendall Beckwith to get out on the field. It looks like that's what they have to do for B.J. Ojulari. Probably not ready to be an every down guy as a 4-3 end. He'll probably have to put on a little size for that. But clearly they think enough of him to get him on the field right now, which is great. But then you look at Jarrell Cherry, a guy who looked the part of a defensive end that they're now kicking inside. Are they going to rely on some of the freshmen? He mentioned Sony Fanua there, who's a transfer as well, who could play inside or out. When we were talking about the preseason All-America team and even all-conference teams, I mentioned someone in that front seven is going to have an opportunity to emerge because somebody has to make the plays. Like somebody has to make tackles. Somebody has to sack the quarterback. Somebody has to deflect passes. Whoever that is that emerges, I think is going to have the great opportunity to win a lot of those awards and gain that kind of notoriety. We just don't know who it's going to be. Somebody's going to have to step up. On the other side of the ball at the line of scrimmage, Ed Orgeron talked about sort of the depth that he has there on the offensive line.
Yeah, you know, those guys are a little bit behind right now. Now, Cordell has lost some weight. He's faced some injuries. They're a little bit behind. Anthony's still battling the weight problem. Those guys right now are not in the too deep. Obviously, they still earn their way up. But I talked to them the other day about picking them up. I still believe that those are 2 tremendous young men, and they can be outstanding players for us, but they have some things they have to improve on.
So, of course, he was talking about Cardell Thomas and Anthony Bradford. And if you remember, early in this process, Anthony Bradford is one of the guys that Ed Orgeron was talking about that he liked as a potential starter on this offensive line, potentially a right guard. Well, and that's when Chasen Hines was playing center. Well, now Liam Shanahan has emerged, and you're seeing Liam Shanahan as your starting center, and that's moved Chasen Hines to right guard, and you got Ed Ingram at left guard. So I get asked so often about guys who have this high star ranking, right? Their recruiting ranking. And I understand why there's interest from fans about those guys because you follow them throughout their high school career and they have this really big, they come with a lot of hype and you want to see them do well. The guy that Cardell was one of those guys last year before his injury, and John Emery was like that. And I'm not trying to call guys out, but it's just, this is natural. But sometimes, especially with interior linemen, the physicality is totally different. If you're Cardell Thomas and you were used to as a 330-pound lineman pushing around 1A defensive linemen who looked like me or were smaller than me, it's different whenever you're facing SEC caliber defensive linemen. We saw this when Cardell Thomas's star ranking dropped when he started going to the elite camps. It's not to say he's not going to be a great player. You heard Ed say it. He's going to lose some weight. They're not in the too deep right now. So it's just going to be a process for those guys to wait their turn, keep getting better until they can play. The thing that is very encouraging is that you have a really good starting five on the offensive line. Liam Shanahan was an all-conference player at Harvard. Ed Ingram might be your best offensive lineman. Chasen Hines has proved even as a freshman physically he was ready. And then you've got a veteran tackle in Austin Deculus, and then at left tackle you've got a guy who in Dare Rosenthal played a lot of football for you last year. Now, beyond that is concerning. Who's there in your depth? And that's what they have to build, and that's the task that James Craig is going to have. But your first five, I think you feel really good about right now. The other position, though, that has drawn rave reviews, that undeniably people are going to be salivating over this fall, is tight end. And it's in large part because of Eric Gilbert, who every time I post practice video, fans say, "Who's two?" That's Gilbert. Here was Ed Orgeron today talking about his freshman.
Eric is the type of tight end we've been looking for to stretch the field. Yesterday, we ran a vertical route right up the field. He beat the Mike linebacker, touchdown. That's a dagger in the heart to the defense. But we can spread him out. He can play X. He can play Z. He's a good player. He's a physical player. 6'5", 251. We have red zone today. I mean, just like in the backyard of Solid Foods, right? Just throw it out, oop, catch it, and touchdown, right? So there's a lot of things that he can do, but he's a tremendous young man. I was leaving the office on Sunday. He was coming to study tape on his own. Very, very driven. I think he's going to be an excellent player for us.
The best news there is leaving the office and you have the freshman going to study tape on his own. That's phenomenal to hear. But it's not just Gilbert. I mean, Gilbert is there at 6'5", who is a freakishly athletic big tight end. But they have really remade the entire tight end position at LSU. Because with Gilbert there, you've also got Cole Taylor out of Colorado, the first ever signee that LSU has out of the state of Colorado, 6'7". He's giant. And then, obviously, you added Nick Storrs, who's a big 6'6" player as well, who the word is they really like him. So they have redefined the tight end position at LSU. And Ed was asked today if Gilbert could end up being the number 3 receiver on this team.
Yes, he could be. I think Racey's got that solidified right now, but I think that eventually Eric could work in that position. He's a freshman. Obviously, he missed spring ball because of an operation. We want him to learn tight end, get the tight end down, because a lot of stuff, we're doing a lot of stuff with him. We're flexing him out. He's in motion. He's got to do this on this play, do this on this play. So we want him to learn the tight end position and get good at that. Then eventually we can move him out, and yes, he could be.
2-87. Keep an eye on him. They've redefined the tight end position of what a tight end at LSU looks like, and they're going to play a lot this year. Eric Gilbert and Cole Taylor. All right, y'all, Ed Orgeron giving an update from fall camp today. We'll get to more of what Coach O had to say a bit later in the show. Rohan Davey will be with us in 45 minutes in studio. Purple and gold to black and gold. When we come back, Sean Payton met with the media. Saints, no availability today, so we'll catch up on what Sean Payton had to say about Nigel Bradham's release, Zach Bond's emergence there as a rookie linebacker as well. We'll get to a lot of what Sean Payton had to say as the Saints move through training camp toward Week 1. Stick around here with us on AFR.
AFR.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Of course, storms in the Gulf, they're threatening. If you end up having damage, which let's hope you don't, pray that we all avoid damage. But if you do, Insurance Network of Louisiana is there for you. If you go to their Facebook page, they have listed the contact numbers for every one of the independent or one of the individual companies that they partner with. If you need those contact numbers, they're already trying to expedite that for you. And look, if you haven't done it yet, call Insurance Network of Louisiana and let them shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. Nobody wants to overpay for insurance. Everybody wants the best deal possible. But if you haven't called Insurance Network of Louisiana, chances are you're overpaying and underinsured. Brandon, an AFR listener, was with State Farm, got $50,000 extra in savings, saved $265 a year, better coverage, less money. It's Insurance Network of Louisiana. LAinsurance.net.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling through a Tuesday edition of AFR. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We were talking in the last segment about LSU's defensive ends. Brent Simino said Andre Anthony has been on the field. I was talking about defensive ends. Anthony is going to start at one defensive end spot, and it looks like Trevez Moore, to start the season, will be at the other defensive end. And I went through this last week, and I would always recommend, if you could, go catch up on what you missed on the After Further Review YouTube channel at 1045ESPN.com. You know, Andre Anthony was on the field. Do you know how many tackles he had last year? Do you know? Musso, do you know how many tackles?
10.
Huh.
Too many? Is it too high? 0.
9.
Oh, man, I was so close.
You were close. You were right on it. 9. So, yeah, he played. He had 9 tackles last year. Travis Moore had 3. So your starting defensive ends last year combined for 12 tackles. Like, I get it. Oh, he played. Yeah, kinda. Season high was 3 against Northwestern State. Like, this is just different, y'all. Like, this is the thing that is the biggest question, because you're doing something totally different. You're moving from a 3-4 with a defensive coordinator that wanted to occupy space up front and create pressure with exotic blitzes that could be coming from anywhere and different coverages. Now you're going to a defensive coordinator that wants super fast, strong, athletic defensive linemen that pin their ears back and beat you one-on-one, and then you cover with numbers on the back end. It's just different. And the biggest difference is going to be at defensive end, because you haven't been recruiting 4-3 ends. Now, they're fixing that. They brought in B.J. Ojulari. They got Ali Gay out of JUCO. You heard Ed say Sony Fanu was kind of flexible. They've moved Jarrell Cherry from the outside in. Like, we'll see how it works. But you're asking guys that haven't done it to do it this year. So, yes, who's that? Was Brent, I think. I get your point. Technically, like, in a literal sense, yes, Andre Anthony did play last year. But let's get real, man. Let's get real about what we're talking about here. This guy's been on campus now for 4 years and hasn't made a splash. This is his opportunity. He's an athletic kid, 6'3", 250. Like, I hope he does it. I mean, I sincerely do. Listen, we've seen linebackers do this, right? Debo Jones was a special teamer. Got his chance as a senior. Boom. Huge year. 100 tackles, 3rd-round pick. Duke Riley a year later did the same thing. Special teams guy, his whole career, finally gets on the field, gets his chance. Boom. Huge guy. Becomes drafted, a draft pick of the Falcons. Like, it happens. It absolutely happens. We saw it with Lloyd Cushenberry. We saw it with Garrett Brumfield. Like, we've seen guys wait, get their opportunity, and then explode when they finally get it. It's just a rarity at a place like LSU. So maybe Anthony can be that. Maybe Travis Moore can be that. Maybe not. We'll see. I think that's probably the only question mark for this whole team. There are things that you'd like to see. Like, I'd like to see more experience depth. I'd also like to have $10 million in my bank account. I'd like for Miles Brennan to have played a whole bunch more, but it's hard to complain given the season they had last year. You know what I mean? So they've got tons of weapons. They've got so much talent on the defensive side of the ball. Like, they're loaded. They're going to be great again. It's just, that's the one question that I'm curious to see how it plays out. All right, it's after further review. Similar for New Orleans. Like, the New Orleans Saints are top to bottom one of the best rosters in the NFL. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got the best receiver in the NFL. You got a super versatile running back tandem. You've got really good offensive linemen, including arguably the best right tackle in the NFL. You've got 2 first-round picks on your interior line, 3 first-round picks on your interior line, Defensively, they've become one of the better units in the NFL. They were 3rd in the NFL in sacks last year. You get it. Like, the Saints are one of the best rosters in the NFL. So, what does it look like moving forward? Mentioning the interior of the offensive line. This is the question. It's, what do you do with McCoy and Ruiz? So at the start of practice, Eric McCoy was at center, Ruiz was at guard. Now they've flipped. So here was Sean Payton talking about Cesar Ruiz's first couple of days with the first unit at center.
Yeah, look, we'll see the tape today. Yesterday, there were some good things, and then things that we want to see both he and Eric clean up. It's kind of going as we talked about. We wanted to work with both of those guys at the center right guard combination, and so we'll have a chance to see today's practice. But overall, I think it's been well.
My personal feeling is that I would like to see Cesar Ruiz start at center. There is the idea that if you flip him, then you're weakened at 2 spots. I just don't believe that's the case. I believe, while Eric McCoy has shown he can be a very good center in the NFL, we don't know if Ruiz can be a good guard in the NFL. I'm more confident in Cesar Ruiz being a center, and I am very confident in Eric McCoy's ability to kick to right guard. But do you want 2 players playing new positions on the interior of your line? I get why that's a question, but that's my guess is week 1 against Tampa, Eric McCoy is going to be playing center. Unless if Cesar Ruiz does something over the next 2 weeks that absolutely wows everyone. My guess is McCoy for the structure of having a veteran center. Their guy was veteran, right, second year, but who played all of last season there. At that important position, part of the battery, I think McCoy starts there. And in turn, Ruiz will ultimately take that spot, be it next year at some point this season. But I have this inclination just to say, just do it. Do it now. I know McCoy's going to be good at right guard, and ultimately Drew Brees is going to make all those calls. So you can bring Ruiz along more quickly, provided Brees is okay with it as you start. On the other side, obviously the big news yesterday was that Nigel Bradham was cut by New Orleans. Here's Sean Payton talking about letting go the veteran linebacker.
Yeah, look, we're working constantly, evaluating all the snaps and looking closely at these guys. And, it was a decision we made just based on what we had seen so far. And, we're going to get some of these younger guys more work.
He didn't have a lot to say, did he? And saying we're going to get some of these younger guys work might be your answer. Because, and we spent a lot of time on the show yesterday discussing the role that Zach Bond has played early, and then obviously Carl Granderson as well, who yesterday on the show Jeff Duncan mentioned as a guy who is flashing every day at practice. So you can look at some of those young guys that Sean Payton was alluding to. Joe Bocci as well as a guy who we're expecting is going to have an impact on this team. And it makes sense why you would free up that spot to get the reps for the younger guys who are going to be more affordable and are guys you feel like are really going to be able to make an impact on this team. One more, speaking of which, here's Sean Payton talking about Carl Granderson.
Yeah, look, I think, number one, I see a change in his body type. He's carrying more weight. I think he's had a good off season, and I think he's had some good practice days. He's put together a few. So I'm encouraged with how he looks. I think he's a strong player, and we'll continue to keep. He's one of those guys that these reps and these live situations, all of it's invaluable to him. He's a second-year player, but I would say number one, he looks to be heavier, but also stronger.
Granderson's a guy who could be a pass rush specialist, could be invaluable to this team. For what it's worth, Sean Payton did say the plan is for them to practice at the Dome on Friday. All of that obviously depends on what happens with both COVID and with Hurricane Laura and what that storm ultimately does. But here was Sean Payton updating the full schedule for the week.
Well, I'm not necessarily comparing it to where we would have been this time last year. We knew when we set the calendar with this year's schedule where we expected to be. It was a big 2-minute install today, and our goal is to, obviously Tuesday will be off, and then to get back in the pads and have more of a scrimmage type of a setting here towards the latter part of the week. So we're on schedule based on what we laid out. Now, compared to in years past where you're playing preseason games, it would be a little different.
So Sean Payton laying out the schedule, making the best you can of a bad situation, but you're still out there practicing football and get ready for the opener against Tampa coming up a couple weeks in the Superdome. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We did learn that another NFL team will not have fans to start the season. The Los Angeles teams, the Rams and the Chargers at SoFi Stadium, will begin the season with no fans, as will the Saints and so many other teams around the NFL. Yesterday, we learned Miami will start the season with 13,000 fans at their stadium down in Miami Gardens. So that's going to change. We'll see ultimately as we move through the season and throughout the different phases in each individual state. But the Saints will start with no fans, and there's a possibility anyway that by their second home game, they could have some fans in the Superdome. We'll keep you up to date. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Rohan Davey in studio in 30 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Ooh, it's 4:30. If you're thinking about dinner plans, think no more. I got your answer. It's Ichiban. Storm in the Gulf. Why in the world would you try to bother cooking? You wouldn't want to go buy food and then have it in your refrigerator. What if we lose power? Hopefully we don't, right? But what if we do? You got food that'll go bad? Just order out tonight. Make it an Ichiban night. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Both locations have all-weather patio dining. So if you want to eat outside, enjoy the weather comfortably, you can do so at either location, Essen near Perkins or Airline Highway in Gonzales, and find your favorite specialty roll, like the Caliente roll. The Caliente roll is tuna, guacamole mixture wrapped with rice and white soy paper. There's the Bayou roll, soft shell crab and avocado, topped with spicy tuna crunchy smelt roe, scallions, and eel sauce. It's the Bayou roll. It's only at Ichiban. Voted by you the best sushi in the Best of 225 awards. 2 locations. Make tonight an Ichiban night.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Hello. What's up, E? What you doing? Chilling at the office working. You? Hanging at the job site. Chilling. Roof's up. Hey, Greg. Roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up? Roof's up. Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time. True. True.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to us. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Annis & Bitter. Annis & Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So Lane Kiffin is ticked. NCAA last week announced that it's granting a blanket extra year of eligibility for all sports athletes, whether you choose to participate or not. That seems like a good thing, except for guys like Ole Miss safety Otis Reese, who had played at Georgia, transferred to Ole Miss, former four-star recruit. He's set to start at Ole Miss this year, yet Reese has not yet heard back from the NCAA on his appeal. Cade Mays, who left Georgia, went to Tennessee, has had his appeal for immediate eligibility denied. Kiffin calls this a flaw in the system. He said, these guys are sitting out, and they're sitting and really losing that year. To take someone that's sitting and has 1 year to play next year. Well, they would have gotten a free year this year. So they'd have 2 seasons to play, which is true. Now someone like that only has 1 season to play, says or Otis, who I just talked about. He'd have 3 seasons to play. Now he's going to sit and only have 2. It's pretty neat for everyone else, but it's really screwing these guys. That's Lane Kiffin. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Like, if the transfers were eligible, like everyone else who's basically just getting a free year to play this year and it's not going to affect eligibility, why can't these transfers play? I tend to agree. The flip side of it is the NCAA is not going to want to grant a blanket waiver for immediate eligibility because then the players in the Pac-12 or Big Ten who might want to play would leave and be eligible elsewhere. So if you can prove, Otis Reese or Cade Mays, that you deserve immediate eligibility waiver, that's one thing. Granting that blanket waiver, I don't think is going to happen, but I do agree with Lane Kiffin in that I'm always going to be pro player. If there's something that's going to positively impact college football players, I'm going to be for it. And I would be very much for these guys having the opportunity to play immediately. So Lane Kiffin's tick. The flip side of it is you got a guy like David Shaw at Stanford who went on the Rich Eisen show today. And David Shaw was talking about, obviously he's in a league that's not playing. And he was asked, why the other Power 5 leagues are playing and his league and the Big Ten are not.
I can't answer it per se. I do know a lot of people, both commissioners, athletic directors, coaches, et cetera, at a lot of these places, and they are doing everything they can. And many of us were as well. Like, you are testing your student athletes. We all believe the best place for our student athletes is with us. Everyone has said that repeatedly, and I agree with that 100%. The hard part now is to say, can we, without a shadow of a doubt, create an environment to where we can travel, participate in games, practice, engage in society, engage on our campuses, and tell our student athletes and their parents that we are doing something that's right for them?
So here's the problem I have with that. And I think he's right. Like, they're trying, they're doing what they feel is best. He's like, but he said, can we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're doing what's right for them? Well, no, you can't. But you also can't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can prevent their son or daughter from being injured. In football, their son from suffering a spinal injury or suffering brain injury. Like, those are some of the risks that you take. The question is it just reasonable that you could have an expectation that you're doing what's necessary to keep themselves and give them the option to play if they want to play? And that is true, and that's why the other leagues are progressing. The other thing that was interesting is David Shaw was asked about playing in January, because that's what's kind of being presented right now. I think most Pac-12 Big Ten programs understand you can't have a true spring season starting in February or March and playing into the summer, because now you've completely screwed up the fall of 2021. And if the other Power 5 leagues are progressing to play this fall, they're obviously going to play in the fall of 2021. So you're not going to compromise 2 seasons, are you? Here was David Shaw.
I think it would be great. I think we'd have to do it with some common sense. The later we start, the shorter the season has to be, in my opinion, in order to not adversely affect the fall of 21. So as much as we all would want to play, the reason why we had a 10-game season instead of a 12-game season that play in January, I think we need to truncate it a little bit. We can't just think about, hey, we got to have a full season and have a national championship, because now if you try to have a full season starting in January, you're going to play until March, April, May. And now how do you truly get your guys back and ready for training camp in August?
You don't. Can you imagine if you had a player suffer a season that, first of all, none of your upperclassmen or draft eligible players are going to play? That's been said. Can you imagine if you have an injury in this truncated spring season and that affects someone's fall of 21? It's stupid. It's not practical. And there is a better chance of the SEC, ACC, Big 12 pulling off a full season in the fall of 2020 than there is of the Big 10 and Pac-12 playing a modified season in the winter and spring of 2021. I think what you have here are other leagues that have played their hand, sort of called, and the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 and American Athletic and Conference USA and Sun Belt are all moving on and showing that it can be done and that you were too preemptive with your move. And now they're trying to save face as best they can for their athletes, for their recruits, for the fans, the parents. But what's markedly different in January than right now? You got a really tough time answering that question. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. When I leave here today, go out in the parking lot, get into my brand new Volkswagen Atlas, the 3-row 7-seater family SUV. I know when I put Drew in his car seat in that car, I have such peace of mind because I'm in one of the safest vehicles on the road. Volkswagen has 9 different IIHS top safety picks. That is the best, highest safety designation a vehicle can receive. And Volkswagen has 9 of them. Manufactured in their Tennessee plant, but with that great German engineering, style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? ESPN, for the second year, has done their Position U rankings. So, for what it's worth, this is for nothing more than just conversation's sake. So let's start there, okay? This isn't a be-all, end-all. This isn't anything that should be the standard or metric by which anything is judged. But they went back to 1998, and they used some different parameters. Pro Football Reference to find out draft picks, how well players did in their first 4 years in the NFL, and they also used their time in college, how they did, winning all-conference, All-America awards, etc. A couple of things that are notable. Quarterback, LSU came 9th in the quarterback U rankings. Oklahoma was at the top of the list, followed by USC, Oregon, Louisville, Texas, Florida State, Auburn, Florida, LSU, and Ohio State. That's your top 10 of the quarterback U rankings. Some other ones of note that stand out, in case you're wondering. Running back U, LSU was 3rd. Wide receiver U, LSU was 3rd. Southern Cal, Oklahoma 1 and 2. If you look at tight end, LSU wasn't on there. There were 2, however, that stood out most to me. That were indicative of how and why LSU got where it did, kind of in a bind with its roster. One was at linebacker, where Georgia was number 1, Alabama was number 2, and LSU wasn't on the list. So going back to 1998, this stunned me. Going back to 1998, from 98 to 2010, LSU had 1 linebacker drafted. Let me say that again. 1998 to 2010, 12 NFL drafts. LSU had 1 linebacker drafted. It was Brady James in 2003. Now, LSU has begun to rectify that. Over the last 11 drafts, they've had 11 linebackers drafted, including 3 this past year, with Chasson, Queen, and Phillips. And a year ago, Devin White was a top 5 pick. You can throw in Terry Riley, Kelvin Shepard, Kevin Minter, Lamine Barrow, Quan Alexander, Deion Jones, Duke Riley, and then White, Chasson, Queen, Phillips. So that has rectified. The other one that for me is the glaring beacon of what went wrong with LSU football as they slipped post 2011 championship appearance. The thing, more than any other, that illustrates why LSU did not maintain its status among the elite in college football is the offensive line rankings. Alabama was at the top of the list. Number 1. Wisconsin, 2. That's not a surprise. Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan, Southern Cal, Notre Dame, Georgia, Iowa, Florida State. A lot of teams that have had a lot of success over that run from 1998 to present day. LSU's not on the list. And this tells you why. You go back to 1998, Alan Faneca was drafted. A year later, Todd McClure was drafted. You had 2 players in 01, Brandon Winey and Lewis Williams. You had a little gap for a few years. Then in 04, Stephen Peterman was taken. Another gap, then Whitworth in 06. Another 2-year gap without a lineman drafted. And then Herman Johnson was picked in 09. Another gap, and then Barksdale in 11. You went 2 years without a lineman picked again, and then there went Trey Turner in 2014. You didn't have one in 15, but then Hawkins and Alexander in 2016, and then you got on a little bit of a roll. Hawkins and Alexander in 2016, Ethan Posick in 2017, Will Clapp in 2018, and then this year you had 3. Just like with linebacker this year where you had 3 players taken, this year you had 3 offensive linemen drafted. Damian Lewis, Lloyd Cushenberry, Sadiq Charles. The fact that those 2 positions that I just mentioned, Alabama is number 1 or number 2 of linebacker U, number 2 of defensive line U, and number 1 at offensive line U. And again, this is a metric that isn't a be-all, end-all, but it is a good illustrator where you consider the number of draft picks, the success those draft picks had in their first 4 years in the NFL, and the success they had in college based on conference and national awards. It's a good combined metric to tell you how that position group as a whole did, generally speaking. LSU a year ago won the award for the best offensive line in college football. That was an amazing leap for a unit that was maligned a year before. And Ed Orgeron and his staff have hammered the lines of scrimmage in recruiting. You got Doomerville and Hill in this year's class. You got Bradford a year ago and Cardell Thomas. You got some big boys already committed. And you got Tristan Lee, who's a 5-star, one of the top offensive linemen in the country, who is salivating over your program. Ed's fixing it. But if you wonder why LSU had regressed among the national elite, not saying they weren't a great program, but weren't there in that rarefied air, why the 12-0, 11-1 became 9-3, 8-4. Look no further than the line of scrimmage. We talk so much about the quarterbacks. There's a lot of teams that have won a lot of games and won championships with poor quarterback play. Bottom line is, LSU's line play wasn't good enough to beat the best teams in college football. It is now. That's the big difference. You're going to see these numbers. If ESPN continues to do this, you'll see these numbers continue to normalize because of the way LSU's recruiting now and how they're pumping guys at those positions into the NFL. All right, tap further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. Muso. We'll have Tigers and the Pros. We'll wrap up next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Open again today. Obviously, yesterday with the threat of Marco, they closed, but today, Pluckers, both locations reopened. Pluckers is always a great option for lunch. If you're back working, remember, either location, Nicholson just south of campus or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Easy interstate access to the Bluebonnet location. So you can get in, get out, and you can have a contactless curbside takeaway at both Pluckers locations, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. Tonight and every Tuesday, kids eat free. So kids are off of school, they're at home, driving you nuts. You need to get out of the house. Get to Pluckers. Mom and dad, you order your food. Kids eat free at Pluckers every Tuesday. Either location. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Bring the whole family. Eat some wings. Watch some sports on TV. It's Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month, or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month, or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, wrapping up hour 2, Muso Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Muso, did you eat all of the hemp I gave you yesterday?
No.
Did you let your dog eat the hemp I gave you that were hemp dog treats?
Not yet, because he really gets the anxiety bad with weather, so that could be
kind of like bad weather that we had today.
Right, but
good opportunity to give your dog.
I wasn't home when the bad weather was happening. I was here.
Okay. Well, then just leave them in a bowl, let them eat them all. Don't do that, actually.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't want your dog to do that. Somebody messaged me and was like, hey, if I take that hemp and I get drug tested at work, am I going to get in trouble? No, you're not going to get in trouble. It's one of the things you do. But it's a misconception people have. Kentucky's Best Hemp. Hemp is all natural, and it is completely legal. It has great positive benefits. And you can get a free bottle. At bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com. Travis McGraw sent a tweet to me today with his picture from Kentucky's Best Hemp. Do that as well. Bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com. Okay, Muso, go ahead.
MRI results are back for Grant Delpit. Definitely confirmed a ruptured Achilles tendon. Delpit will have surgery to repair the injury and is expected to miss the entire 2020 season. Bad day for defensive backs, former LSU defensive backs on the Browns. Greedy Williams also went down at practice yesterday with a shoulder injury. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said today they're still evaluating Greedy. He's on a we'll see basis.
Stefanski.
Great name. Joe Burrow is turning heads at Bengals camp because, of course, he is. He's going to be a regular on this segment, I feel like, for y'all here in the fall. Joe kind of dominated the scrimmage yesterday. They did some 11-on-11 work, gave him a full field, gave him 90 seconds. Go win the game, Joe. He was 6 of 7. Threw the game-winning touchdown, 37 yards against man coverage on 4th and 6. He also had a 75-yard touchdown pass.
Yep. They got me excited.
He's going to be so good. And Jacoby Jones. The Tigers had another game, which means Jacoby had another hit, 1 for 4, and another run scored. 271 on the season for the former Tiger. Detroit got slapped around 9-3 by the Cubs there. And finally, Riley Smith, former LSU pitcher, recalled by the Diamondbacks last night. Smith back in the show, did not get on the field yesterday, might get on the field later tonight. Was an all-star in their minor league system last season. And that's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp, online at bestfreehemp.com. Get your free bottle. Yes, really free. They will ship for free as well. Bestfreehemp.com, bestfreehemp.com. And when you use bestfreehemp.com. They'll send you a promo code for 50% off your order, your next order, bestfreehemp.com. Muso, do you remember Riley Smith?
Yeah, he pitched in 2016.
Did you look all this up?
No, I remember Riley Smith.
I feel like you probably read the whole article about him getting called.
It's not true. I remembered he was an all-star because we followed him last season on Tigers in the Pros.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I absolutely remember somebody who pitched 4 years ago at LSU.
When I saw the email from Franques today, it was like former LSU pitcher, and I was like, because when you get those, you know it's someone got called up. I was like, who? I'm like, Riley Smith. Who the hell is Riley Smith?
He didn't pitch often at LSU.
Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com. Call Dr. Blake Williamson to set up that free consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson and see if Dr. Blake Williamson can get you what he got me, which is a new lease on life with vision. Put down the glasses forever. Throw away the contact cases, the spare contacts, the saline solution. Never mess with it again. Williamson Eye Center. LASIK. It's life transforming. You hear people say it's the best decision I ever made. Wish I had done it years before. I'm one of those as well. Williamson Eye Center. Give yourself the gift of sight or give a loved one the gift of sight. 924-2020. Look, if you were born and you got genetically great vision, I'm pumped for you. But if you're like me and your eyes sucked, there is an option. It's LASIK at the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEYE.com or 924-2020.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is big. Really big. I mean really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news on 2 NBA stars. Blazers point guard Damian Lillard will not play against the Lakers tomorrow in Game 5 because of a sprained knee. Rockets guard Russell Westbrook ruled out against the Thunder in Game 5 tomorrow because of strained quads. Mavs center Kristaps Porzingis sidelined a second straight game with right knee soreness. He won't play in Game 5 tonight against the Clippers, with that series tied at 2 games apiece. Paul George, as well as the Clippers, hoping tonight's the game he finally breaks out of his shooting funk. He's certainly the LA player under the most pressure, believes ESPN's Stephen A. Smith.
Paul George is averaging 15 on 29% shooting, 22% from three-point range. He's been virtually non-existent offensively. A matter of fact, he's damn near been offensive. And that's what he has to get together. And also, he's got to step up on both ends of the floor because it's not just Kawhi that's accountable defensively. It's Paul George, too.
Clippers Mavs Game 5, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Stanley Cup playoffs, injured Lightning defenseman Ryan McDonough out for Game 2 tonight against the Bruins. Tampa Bay trails that series 1-0.
Coming up Wednesday, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten won't play football this fall. We'll ask USC's head coach Clay Helton what's next for the Trojans on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Wednesday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Paul, you got to put the camera on now. I forgot what I was saying. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Muso. We're glad you are as well. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. And we welcome back into studio our good friend Rohan Davey.
Rohan Davey.
Never get enough.
Oh, my
It's
God.
now time to talk LSU football with former Tiger quarterback Rohan Davey. Presented by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. If it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Rohan, you ever seen a woman letting her concealer bake?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Good to have you back in studio, man. You want to pick that mic up? Is that
new stings
is that
around
drooping
here.
on you over there?
There's a lot of things that I'm not used to right now.
Yeah. So that's called a windscreen.
I have what you call the what they call this, the up and downy chair.
You see? Hey, let the record show that it's not, hey, Gordy, it's not me complaining about the chairs now. It's Rohan complaining about the chairs because the hydraulics on all these chairs are broken. You sit in it, like bounces up and down. It's
like you're a little kid on your dad's knee.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. And then you walk in here, earlier in the show, Muso, by the way, Brain's back producing the show, but he's off on hurricane duty. So Muso's in now. I think that's a change since you were last here.
That is a change.
Yeah,
so is this thing.
Yeah, so this is called a wind guard. They put that on the mic to make sure you don't pop your peas. Anyway, so Muso's back in here right now. We were talking earlier about because I have my Dead Soxy on. I was like, Rohan, how long till Ro ask for Dead Soxy or Pluckers gift cards? What?
That wasn't what I saw in there. When I was outside?
When you were out, the first thing I walked outside and Rose in the hall, he already had one of the 104.5 ESPN masks. Like but you hadn't been here, you hadn't been in studio yet. He already got one of the masks. Got the 104.5 ESPN on it.
Cuz, man, y'all be shortchanging me over here. So
Shortchange? What are you talking about?
I gotta
Like,
get it, baby.
You get paid to be here, and you get every stinking bit of the product that we get, of the trade product.
It's still not enough.
You walked in here.
How about
you almost opened my bottle of Sazerac Rye. You did open the Kentucky's Best Hemp Honey Sticks. And then there was like the little peel back thing on the top. It was like, hey, man, these are set props.
Yeah, but no one sees that that peel back seal. So if that's removed, no one sees it.
You just want one honey stick?
That's it. I just want to see what it tastes like. My man.
Ain't even been in here 5 minutes. He's already busting open my set props. Rohan literally said, I want to pour some of that whiskey in my after workout recovery drink. All right, give me one too. I'll take one with you. So what is it? No, I don't want that. So is that so I haven't had the honey stick. So you chew this or do you bust it open and you put it in a drink?
Why are you asking?
See if it says on there. This is Kentucky's Best Hemp, by the way. There's a lot. They got gummies, they got oil, they got salve, they got capsules, they got honey sticks. How you do it?
Nah, you just take it. Just bust it open. Bust it open. Bust it.
I don't know how.
Just bust it open. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Tastes pretty good. I bet you got to cut it.
You're damn right you got to cut it. Well, you must got some. You got teeth like a damn tiger, don't
I got
you?
some of it, yeah. It's good. Tastes like honey. You all right? Bro, you can't say that on air. Like,
I can't get
how many times I have to tell you that?
Oh, there it is.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
That's pretty good. I go with the Kentucky. What is this?
Kentucky's Best Hemp.
They get my vote.
So this is former LSU pitcher Lewis Coleman.
Sweet Lou, baby.
So this is full spectrum infused honey.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. 10 milligrams of CBD per stick. And so it helps with inflammation. It helps with anxiety for some people. Helps people sleep. Like, I'll take the gummies before I go to bed. I hope this doesn't have that effect, because if this makes me tired, well,
They're in trouble.
Before we end this hour, I may be like, Muse, you got to take us home, bro.
They're in trouble.
Oh. All right. Anyway, how are you, man?
See, aren't you glad that I opened it?
A little bit, yeah. I am.
I'm doing
Muso,
good,
you
man.
want one of these? Paulie, you want a honey stick?
Oh, no, Neil, baby.
Okay. All right, so you're good, man. Family's good?
Family's good.
You can work out that honey stick in the break, maybe?
Family's okay.
All right.
Everybody's good. Everybody's healthy.
That's the most important thing, and I'm glad to hear that. Especially Storm coming and all and everything.
Thank God that first one didn't hit like
I know.
it was supposed to.
Hey, man, what do you think about the challenge of this fall camp being so long, really? Because they've been in, like, the football school since June, man. And so, like, now you're going to have this 3-month kind of 10-week ramp up to the season. Like, that's a long time.
I know. And the challenge for that is not to get redundant. You know what I mean? Like, the challenges for the coach. That's why I when we were talking earlier, I've been thinking about it, and it's such a challenge for the coaches and the offensive players. And the reason why I say the offensive players, especially the quarterback, is because it's so much that they're going to be trying to put in. It's so much that the coaches are going to expect from him in such a long period of time. You kind of like got to set a schedule to, okay, we're going to this by this much, whatever the install is for Miles. Because for Miles and also the rest of those guys, because they're going to need it, being that none of them have really taken a legitimate snap.
Do you think that Brennan, let's talk about Brennan and elaborate a little bit, because he's got a lot that he's got to work on here. Number one, he's working with a new center. Lloyd's gone, so here comes Liam Shanahan, the grad transfer from Harvard. What's a realistic process for the two of them to get on the same page?
Well, the thing about it is this, Matt. Being that football now is shotgun so much.
Yeah.
It really eliminates a lot of the feel and the timing, because, I mean, 85 to 90% he's in a shotgun.
It's 100% for LSU unless you're taking the knee.
Correct. In the shotgun. So it's more, and being that this kid's coming from Harvard, I'm guessing he's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to grasp it quick, and as well as help Miles out with the line calls. You know, be able to point out the mic, help him out with the side adjustments, help him out with, identifying who we're declaring to, who we're going to, who the line's protecting to. So I think it could be a benefit for him. And all this time that they didn't have, the most important part about that relationship now that we're in a shotgun era, if it was in my time, it'd be a problem.
Did you have to change centers in 2000, 2001?
I went from, I know I had Ben Wilkerson.
So Ben was 01.
Yeah.
He was a freshman in 01.
Mm-hmm. And the year before, I know we had Peterman there a couple times. I've changed center a couple times. And
so what's the biggest challenge then?
It's just in my era, when you're underneath center, when everything was coming from underneath center, the biggest challenge was just him some guys snap it firm, some guys just put it up there. So
who had the most pleasant receptacle of a butt?
Ben Wilkerson.
Why was his butt so good?
Because it wasn't fat. Like, it wasn't one of those big fat, you know what I mean? Like, you could get your hand up under there easy. It wasn't no restriction. He was very flexible. I could move him to my height to where I wanted him, and he knew that. Like, he would stay there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody else, I had to get too low or I had to get too high. But with him, that's where I was at my comfortable. Just pulling away and all that.
So Ben had a good butt and good flexibility.
Ben had a good butt and good flexibility.
Good. Have you told him that?
I'm sure he knows it. He played in the league for a little while. He knows it.
Good player.
Better person.
Yeah, no doubt. Ben's a really good dude. He's a great coach too. I mean, he's
great coach.
He's on his way.
Good family. Love him.
So there's a lot of ground I want to cover. So when you talk about quarterback, obviously center is part of that. But then there's the weapons as well. The most fascinating thing that everybody is looking at right now, Ro, is this freshman tight end, Gilbert. You've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at him.
He's different.
Okay, what are your impressions when you go watch him?
I've never seen a tight end like that at LSU.
Well, I don't think we've seen a tight end like that anywhere. Not like that.
You know, he's in the mold of these guys that could be big receivers, but they're athletic tight ends. So, I mean, I've seen guys like him. I haven't seen it here. I've seen tight ends like him
O.J.
in
Howard?
the league and play. Yeah, guys like that. The guy that played in I'm telling you, I played with a tight end from Georgia when I was in New England. What's the boy name? Played for the Saints. Ben Watson.
Oh, Ben Watson.
Yeah, I played with him in New England when he was a freshman. I mean, excuse me, a
rookie,
rookie.
yeah.
And Ben was
like that, yeah.
specimen.
Yeah.
Ben was ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I've never seen a tight end like that at LSU. But he's in the mold of those guys. But he's gonna be a weapon.
Does getting a tight end like that into the offense fundamentally change the offense when you're what I'm asking is to ask it a different way is, so when you're, instead of having a tight end line up with his hand in the ground, now you're flexing him out. Like, how does that change your offense and what you're trying to do?
Well, it just gives you a lot more options, and it gives you a lot more disguise, a lot more that you can do from a conventional set, and also keep the defense in their conventional set, because you can line him up with his hands down knowing that he's not going to stay there. But now everybody has to adjust with him with his hands down. Now he gets up and flex out. Now he bigs up and goes into a 2-by-2. And the same guy that's covering him has to run with him if it's a man defense. And now it's just a mismatch problem.
So would you say that we've heard Orgeron? No, go ahead.
It's going to be a problem because of the weapons you already had on the outside. You have Marshall. You have Chase, which is the best receiver in the damn country. So he's going to be a problem. Right, so you start from what you already know. We know Chase and Marshall. We know we know Chase is a problem for everyone.
Yeah.
So you start there. Double teams coming. Now we go to Marshall. He's going to be a problem for anyone. So now who are we going to put on him? Our next best defender that we feel, because he's not as physical as Chase, right? So we could probably get our hands on and be a little bit more physical with him. But that kid's been in the weight room this whole offseason, so he's gotten a lot bigger and a lot stronger. Marshall has. Now we go to Palmer and one of these guys. But the X factor is going to be big tight end Gilbert and Pettigrew. I've seen him in the offseason. He's been working on his catching and flexing out and all that as well. So either way it go, whoever the quarterback is, he's going to have a beautiful problem. He's going to have a beautiful problem, because I look at Marshall and see if they coming over the top, he's double. Chase. Now I look at Marshall. My matchup problem all the time is going to be that big tight end against whatever slot that rolls down, whether it's a strong safety, whether these rovers or whatever they call out. Now you go to that, you have two matchup problems. Now you have these backs that has been working tirelessly throughout the offseason on coming out of the backfield and their catching ability. Emery's been working on his catching ability. All these guys been working on his catching ability with Kevin Falk coming out of the backfield. So now that's another problem, like how they used Clyde last year. Not to say these guys are ready like Clyde was, but eventually as you go, those are going to be the two matchup problems when you go to double and chase and when Marshall has one of the best receivers or gets jammed, DBs or gets jammed on the line. So however it go, Matt, we're going to have options.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to break, and when we come back, I want to pick up with how do you get all of these options involved? Like, it's a good problem, but how do you address it? We'll pick that up with Ro in studio. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana.
AFR.
Think real estate? Think Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Or you can always call Darren James at 335-7666, 335-7666. Remember, Darren James sells more homes than anyone. So why would you list your home with anyone other than the agent that sells more homes than anyone? It's Darren James. And Darren wants to make the home buying process or home selling process for you as stress-free as possible. Studies show one of the most stressful events in a person's life is moving. Darren wants to remove that stress and give you a great experience with results. Need to sell your home? Call the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Think real estate. Think Darren James.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Rohan Davey's in studio with us. Glad to have you hanging out here as well. So in the last segment, if you missed it, we were talking about Miles Brennan working with a new center and then also working in Eric Gilbert into the offense, sort of modifying the tight end position or really revamping the tight end position in this LSU offense. We also kind of went down the road of what do you do when you have so many options? Like, it's a good problem to have, right? Mm-hmm. But you've got Chase and you've got Marshall and you've got McMath and you've got Gilbert. And now we're talking about John Trey Kirkland and Trey Palmer. And now you're bringing in Coy Moore and all of these freshmen that are like 5-star, number one, this and that. Like, what do you do?
Hey, listen, man. You come to, when you sign those big name guys as receivers and they come in, the first thing that happens is, because you know it's a couple of them coming, and you have a couple the year before, and you got the gangsters and Jamar Chase, you know, Marshall, McMath. You humble them. You humble those young guys because they first got to come in and learn the playbook. So you got to pick that up first. But the as far as it's a pecking order. It's a pecking order. Just like I said, you got your two animals that they got to get some balls. They have to be engaged. It's similar to when, and this isn't near the crop that they have, but similar to when we had Josh and Reggie and Jarrell and those guys. Josh was a lead dog. We knew you had to get him engaged and get him going in the game. Though your playmakers got to get going. So it's the Chase, it's the Marshall, and when they take them away, those freshmen come in. They got to prove themselves. Those guys fight for playing time. The freshmen fight for playing time. And if you have one or two that separate themselves or show that they're, you know, special or gets it quicker than the other guys, then they may be on the field earlier than if after week 5 or 6 when, you know, one or two other guys get it or come into their own, then, you know, that may be the role. But that's a job for the coaches, but it's also not something that Miles needs to worry about. He just needs to distribute the football.
So so what was it like then in 2001 with Clayton coming in? Because you had Josh, you had Jarrell at the giant season in 99.
Right.
And then 2001 comes along, and here comes Clayton, who's superstar, everything. And he had a monster freshman year. So, like, how did that all transpire? Because now you look at guys like Coy Moore and the freshmen who are coming in and go, all right, I mean, do you have an opportunity to get on the field and make it happen?
I think the first thing is the mindset of the guys coming in. And I can only speak on Michael Clayton, which he had a remarkable mindset coming in. Mike's mindset coming in was to prove himself. His mindset coming in was, I want to play defense. I want to play offense. I want to knock your behind off. Yeah. You know, like, so his attitude first off, and Mike was a real humble kid when he came to school. He sought out leadership. He sought out guidance, and he latched on to guys that he felt comfortable with. And Mike earned the respect as a freshman. He earned the respect from us as the older guys just by how he came in and how he worked. So I think that's the first part of for those guys is to not come in and say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm 5-star, I'm number 2 in the country or whatever it may be. Understand that, hey, boy, everybody around here was number 1 and number 2 at some point, homeboy. You got to come in here and get it. You know what I mean? Don't nobody care about your stats in high school. High school over with. OVA is done.
So being around, I'm guessing you've been around at some point during the summer and to whatever degree you can. I know everything's sort of socially distanced and whatever, but do you have any impressions from what you've been able to see of some of these young guys?
I think that it's the same impression I have every year when they bring these guys in, man. It seems like every year they look more talented. It seems like every year they look more body ready to go. You know what I mean? Chisel, cut up, you know, and it seems like every year these guys come in with a more sense of who they are and what they want to do once they get to college, as far as like, yeah, I know I'm here for school, and football and football,
right.
most of football.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these guys, they have an agenda. They have an agenda. They want to come in, get their education, but most importantly, they want to get on the field. They want to prove themselves, and they want to get acclimated. That's what it seems. That's the feel I get from the group that we have.
So any names? Anybody impress you?
I'll be honest with you, man. The quarterbacks have impressed me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm impressed by how they came back. I'm impressed by how they came back in shape. I'm impressed by how TJ looks. I'm impressed by how Miles look. I'm impressed by how Max like. I'm really impressed by how at the age that they are, they've taken the ownership to when they left and went away to get their body right, to get their mental right, and they've come back better players, not even having taken a snap.
Let's talk a little bit about the freshmen, about TJ and about Max, because coaches rave about those guys. We've heard a lot about Max Johnson, who's the son of obviously a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and then TJ Finley he had a high school coach that completely changed his offense because this kid was such a talent. So what do you see with those young guys?
Well, the talent's off the charts from both of them. From Max, you can see that he's the son of a Super Bowl winning and a successful quarterback by the way he carries himself. He does all the little things that you look for a young guy to do as a quarterback. He's organizing throwing sessions. He's leading throwing sessions, and TJ's right there with him as well. So it's those little things that, to me, you see that out of juniors and seniors most of the time when they come in just trying to take charge like that. I think having the fact that they come in early helps them a lot. Come in and get acclimated, know those guys, early on in the process, get to know the teammates a little bit earlier, get you a little bit more comfortable with speaking up, with taking that leadership role like I've seen from Max. So, the other thing with that is I would love to and I know Coach O has said it's an open competition and so on and so forth, but, it just felt like it wasn't.
What do you mean?
It just
for the starting job?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think any?
I did, and it's not that even I think that one of them should either beat out Miles or should get the first shot. It's with the season so condensed, like you said, and I don't know what the coaches are doing to create adverse situations, just to create eggshell situations, is what I call them, because, like you said, we were talking earlier, and ain't no cupcakes. We were talking about Vandy and Mississippi State.
Oh, we're gonna get there,
right? But you got to be ready. You gotta have some kind of adversity, whether it's these scrimmages, whether it's you have an adverse scrimmage the whole practice where everything is against you. You backed up on the -2 and you got to get 15 yards. Situations have to be created for them before we get there.
I'm at the
my bad.
No, it ain't you, man.
It's falling, though.
I know it ain't you. It's not you. I'm gonna fix that in the break for you, man. Rohan's got a limp mic. Thing keeps falling.
Everything over here falling. The chair.
You see that, Gordy? Your studio's falling apart.
I'm the maintenance man too.
I'll get that fixed for you, man. Don't worry about it. All right, it's after further review. We got one segment left to throw. You know what we're going to do when we come back is I'm going to pick up with what you were just talking about, which is creating urgency this year because of a different schedule. Yeah. 10 games. They're all SEC. Like, there are no tune-ups, warm-ups, all that stuff. We'll get to that with Ro when we come back. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. So, we got 2 storms in the Gulf. And we got a Hurricane Laura that's bearing down, and hopefully it avoids us. But if the storm does come, you get to go inside. Your pets get to go inside. Even your plants get to go inside. You know what doesn't get to go inside? Your AC unit. Got to sit out there on the side of the house all year. Rain, shine, wind, sleet, snow, storm, dust, dander, rodents. Just sits out there all year. Never gets to come inside. Don't you think you should clean it? Don't you think you should make sure that thing's tuned up and running efficiently? That's what River City's 1 Hour Air does. It's your standard seasonal maintenance. River City's 1 Hour Air for just $97. 752-0001, 752-0001.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janny King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up with Rohan Davey. Great to have him in studio with us. Chat's brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highlands, southpointvw.com. Rose Iron, all the stuff in here. He's already got some Kentucky's best hemp. He got himself a 104.5 ESPN mask. Nah, bro, you can't have the Sazerac. Can't have the Sazerac, man. That's got to stay.
Look at my boy over there laughing.
Look at him.
What time it is.
Musa's laughing.
My boy, yeah, because he know, man. Moose know what time it is, man. Moose be wanting to give away everything. He don't care.
But Sazerac, so since you've last been here, Sazerac became our official whiskey sponsor on the show.
Oh, that means it's all through here. I'm definitely taking this.
What you mean it's all through here? That's a set.
Hey, I saw
prop.
one of these down in another office.
In what office?
Some office when I was walking the
If
hall.
you saw that in another office, then somebody had been stealing my stuff. That's a problem.
That's what I wanted to hear. That means you got a whole case somewhere. Right
I don't have a whole case. I got these two
Look
that
how
are
Moose
props.
looking at you. He's like, he got you busted.
I didn't say anything.
Musso, you're fired.
All right, after tomorrow, I'll go back to the mornings permanently.
You don't think that's happening, do you?
No, I love Moose.
If Laura hits. All right, so.
If Laura hits.
Right, well, I mean, because so Haldane's doing storm. The Brain is doing storm coverage on Talk 107.3.
Okay.
So storm coverage for the beautiful days that we've been having.
You have to go out?
What? No, he's like, he's
in
anchored.
studio.
He's on the second floor in the
good.
Talk 107.3 studio.
So he's not like storm tracking or anything. He's not going out.
No, he's not a storm chaser. No,
Yeah.
he's not like in a van. Like this isn't like Twister. Long way down.
He should be though.
He's out there in a van.
He looks like he could
Dorothy
do that
up
though.
into the Twister.
He looks like he could do
him
that.
or
Moose.
oh, I thought you were talking about Haldane.
No, Moose.
Oh,
Moose
Moose.
look like he would like.
We're talking about Haldane.
I'm not talking about him.
All right.
I'm talking about Moose storm chasing.
All right, Moose. You a storm chaser now?
You
and Helen Hunt.
Was the crazy guy in their group who just had that school? He drove the school bus thing.
Yeah,
That guy was nuts.
Long way down. All right, Rohan's in studio with us. Final segment here. You and I were talking. I want to bring this conversation to air, which is how do you create urgency and how does a 10-game SEC schedule differ? So let me just start with that. 10 games, all conference, all SEC games. What do you think of the schedule?
I think the schedule is what the schedule is. I mean, this is everybody keeps talking about the times when we're going through, and it's true. So I'll be honest with you, man. It's exciting. I think it's exciting for these guys. I think these guys are embracing this. Like if I was in this era and you get across to go play a couple teams that you normally wouldn't play, and the challenge is you want guys to accept and take this challenge, because the challenge is who can get going faster. As far as coaches, Coach Orgeron and those guys, Kevin and those guys, this is going to show who's the better coaches immediately. This is going to show who's more locked in immediately, because there's no tune-ups. You can't come out. You can't have what you normally have, where you have the fumbles and the offsides and all that. You can't have that.
I mean, LSU's an 18.5-point favorite against Mississippi State.
I know.
They're going to be a 40-point favorite against Vanderbilt, and it's going to be something north of 3 touchdowns against Missouri. So I look at it, Rohan, I go, they do have 3 tune-ups. They got 3 tune-ups before they go to Florida. They got 3 teams that they are going to dump truck before. Like LSU could sleepwalk the first 3 weeks and dump truck those teams.
You could sleepwalk. You are absolutely right. You can sleepwalk those 3 weeks and win those games, but it still don't mean you've gotten better for Florida.
Okay.
So that's what I mean when I say who can get going quicker. So if you come out and beat Mississippi State and it's a sleepwalk, and you beat whoever, Vandy, and it's a sleepwalk, and you still don't feel comfortable going into Florida, then you've wasted that time. Because now you can't go into Florida and say, let's turn this switch on. And I agree with you, we should bollywop those boys, right?
He said bollywop.
So
that's the first time in the history of the show somebody said bollywop. 10 years of AFR, we've finally used the word bollywop on this show.
So
bollywop. Is that a real word? Or you just make that up?
I make it up.
Okay.
So we should.
Bollywop.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm writing it down.
But if you don't do it to those guys, you're going to have the same questions going into Florida as you would if you played Middle Tennessee or whoever it may have been. So I agree with you. But at the same time, man, and it's an SEC team, so it's not as if you're playing Middle Tennessee. So you just can't have that letdown. You can't have that letdown to where momentum going into the next game isn't the steam that you want to pick up. You got to pick up steam as this season goes off, and especially offensively. Especially offensively. We've seen that when the defense is consistently out on the field. And we know that offense takes a little bit longer to get going normally than defense does. So and especially with a new quarterback and the new pieces. So we're going to have to, these coaches are going to have to put these guys in positions to build their confidence. Miles' confidence is going to have to build as we go into the season and as we get to Florida. If that's where we're looking to be, if that's when we're looking to peak, then the confidence in him has to build, and these coaches have to put the playbook together and whether simplify or expand. Whatever they need to do, they're working with him, but they have to. He's the key component, whether it's him, whoever the quarterback may be. You never know about an ankle, whoever may be in there. But with Miles being a first-year quarterback, with these 2 young guys behind him never taking a snap, it is even more imperative that he understands that how important he is to the team this year, because he's more important, kind of, sort of, than Joe was last year, because at least last year you could fall back on Miles a little bit to carry you through. These guys have never taken a snap.
So are you concerned that there's no depth at quarterback?
I'm concerned that it's no experience.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I am.
You've referenced
But at the same time, if it's so many weapons, Matt, that whoever the guy is, you don't have to sit back there and make a whole bunch of reads. You don't have to sit back there and read the entire field.
Somebody's going to be open.
Yeah.
And if he's not, just throw it up and probably make a play anyway.
You know? So it's going to be on that. And that's why I say the coaches are going to have to come and play. Because just like Joe last year, man, you could just give Joe that thing and let Joe go do his thing. You know, he's an experienced guy. He's been through. He's a coach's son. He had one class last year, so he was involved in everything. Coaches took the reins off of him. He had no reins. Joe had no reins from when he got here because of his intelligence and his experience of being in that system as well. These guys, the coaches are going to have to put reins on Miles, Max, TJ, whoever it is at first, and manage that right and know when to take them off, when to give them some more rope, when to give them some more rope. And then eventually none of them should get no full rope this whole year now, in my opinion. Because no one has played, it's a steadfast year, and also it's an unpredictable year. And this year too, number 2 just as important as number 1. That's the other thing, because they're both inexperienced. Both of those guys that's behind Miles Brennan, supposedly, both of those guys, they're freshman guys. So if he goes down, then how are you going to separate the 2 that's behind? So that's kind of what's going on now in camp.
All right, last thing. You've referenced Kevin Falk a few times. Worth noting, you played with Kevin for a couple of years when he was an upperclassman and you came in. What do you think obviously replacing Clyde, Kevin's first year as running backs coach, what do you see about that rotation and how it works and how Kevin's working with those guys right now?
Well, I think that whenever you have someone like him, you just don't question anything as far as you're a player. His credentials and his resume speaks for itself. And the thing that I know he's been working with those guys on is understanding when the quarterback wants you to be open. A lot of young guys, they come in. Clyde understood that perfectly last year. And it's all it is patience. You got to understand when you're not the number 1 or number 2 option. And you got to understand when you are the number 1 and number 2 option and the urgency that it's going to take for you, because a lot of those running backs and tight ends as well, they think that when they're open is when they're open, but you're not open until I want you to be open. If I'm not looking at you and you think you're open, you're not getting the ball because you're not that option. They think that because this player's call, I'm open, I'm gonna get the ball, but it's a progression or whatever you go through to get to there. It's not just you. So I know that's one of the things he's working with those guys, having patience, route running ability, and definitely blocking.
How do you think the rotation goes? Curry?
I like Curry. I think as far as like dependability, being able to pick up the block, good hands out the block, I think it go Curry and everybody else fight for what's left. Listen, they all have different skill sets though, and that's the thing. I think they all gonna play and they all gonna get their chances. I think it's just gonna be in different games based on what the scheme is that we're going against defensively.
Okay. I can take that. And look, man, the way the last 2 years have shaped out, when Fournette and Geis were gone, and then it's like, okay, Brissett, your turn, 1,000-yard rush.
Right.
All right, Clyde, you're up. Okay, well, look at his season.
First round pick.
I just kind of think it's just going to work. I mean,
it is going to work.
Listen, this offense, they've recruited talented guys.
The one thing I never worry about here at LSU, Matt, and I've been saying this since 1997, running backs. This state produced running backs, bro. This state produced running backs, man.
They got plenty. All right, it's at the further review. Thanks for coming in. Jimmy's coming up next to do auto locks. You want to hang for a sec, or you got to bounce?
I'm out.
All right, he's out. Thanks for coming in.
You know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm out, baby. I love Boost, man. Paul O'Neal, don't get jealous. Love you too, baby.
It's after further review.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com. Of course, we do have a storm in the Gulf right now with Laura. Keep in mind, here's hoping we don't have any damage to property. But if you do, remember Premier South Roofing. A lot of storm chasers come in and they try to take advantage of situations. That's not Premier South Roofing. They've been here for a decade. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. I'm talking about an ethics award for a roofing company. It's Premier South Roofing. If you want someone in a time of need that you know you can trust that's going to do great work at a fair price, that's Premier South Roofing. PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing.
And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right. Roe didn't leave. You know what?
You know why?
Give me my cup.
Get your cup, baby.
All right, we got Otter on the phone too. All right, so we're gonna look. I'm gonna do it. All right. Got my bottle of Sazerac Rye. You've been eyeing it. This is the official whiskey of AFR.
I've been eyeing it, yep.
Sazerac Rye is fantastic. Super versatile spirit, by the way, if you're not familiar with it. You can drink this neat. You can drink this rocks. You can mix it in a cocktail if you want a Manhattan or a old-fashioned or a Sazerac cocktail. You got you.
Sazerac cocktail?
I don't want to spill. Hang on.
Look what you're
Moose,
using.
I'm using my. Well, I got 5 masks. It's all good. Moose, give me a little music there, bro. Give me a little bit of music.
music, baby. A little drinking music.
There you go. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's the cork.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So we busted open the Sazerac. People, you know what you asked me when you came in? Would you ask me about this when you came in?
What?
Would you ask me about this when you came in?
Can I take it?
No. What did you ask me?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
You said, is that good?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, and then what I did after that, I apologized.
And then
right?
I bore a hole through your soul.
Yeah, you sure did.
You think
I had 8
as much as I
eyes or
drink
something.
whiskey, as much as I talk about, you think I'm going to endorse a whiskey that ain't good?
Listen, I apologize, okay? But listen, don't sip it yet.
All right.
Because we know why we toasting now. We do know why we toasting.
So 90 proof.
90 proof.
It's rye whiskey tends to have a little spicier profile in the body. You let it open up a little bit. You're going to get a very full mouthfeel. You're going to get spice on there. It's fantastic.
I get a spice.
You do. That's rye.
I get a spice.
It's fantastic. I love rye whiskey. Gotta love rye. Sazerac sauce. It's a New Orleans company, man. I'm so glad.
It's local.
Yeah, man.
But always buy local.
But the Sazerac company is the second biggest alcohol company in the world.
That's awesome.
People don't even know that.
That's awesome.
All right, we got Jimmy out. What are we toasting?
Toast to the man of the year, the man of the year, the man of the hour, baby. I walked away with all the awards in the top podcast the other day, baby. The you, baby, Ontario.
You're so crazy, bro.
It's the you.
So, thank you.
Like I told you, no, seriously, you're a professional, bro, and I appreciate it. There you go.
Look,
cheers.
All right, there we go. You can pull that up, Paul. Look, there it is.
Like
So me and Kent Lowe earlier today. Louisiana Sports Writers Association. They had their annual awards, and AFR won Best Sports Talk Show in the state. And then we also, Terrio and I won Best Podcast for the Riot Podcast. So got 2 first-place awards today.
You know, the only thing is, them things need to be a little bit more special, baby. They need to be like glass or something. You know what I'm saying?
You're criticizing the awards?
I mean,
they're plaques. What do you want it to be?
I mean, baby, you're the man of the hour, man of the year. They got to be. Hey, do they give the national championship? Do they give them just a plaque, or they'll be that Sears crystal ball, baby?
Well, it's not the national championship.
Your man of the year.
Look, they're nice. It's got the Louisiana Sports Writers Association logo. First place for Best Podcast. First place for Best Solo Sports Talk Show.
Yeah. It's nice.
You think Terrio's going to try to steal it?
Of course.
I know. Like someone else I know tries to steal everything.
Of course. Listen, I've seen Ryan in here. Ryan come in here and do what he want now.
He does. All right, Jimmy Ott's with us. Let's do some Otter Locks.
My boy.
Otter, what's up, man?
What's going on, kids? How are y'all?
We're doing great. Having a little Sazerac rye. Might make me a little Sazerac cocktail, a little Sazerac old fashioned.
There you go.
No need to come see you, Otter. I got my own old fashioned tonight.
Oh, don't only the black cherries now, not those maraschinos. Don't go cheap on me now, baby. Don't go cheap.
Hey, where are you tonight, man?
We're at Dozy Place, right down the street.
That is right down the street. And they make an amazing old fashioned over there too, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
they make an amazing steak.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Otter, what we betting on tonight, man?
Man, all that pomp and circumstance, the Nuggets and Jazz just tipped off. I was celebrating.
I blame Rohan.
I'm not BSing, man. I'm telling you, my man Jokic got right early in the shutdown. One of my favorite players, but he got the COVID. He was shut down for 2 weeks. He comes back about 35 pounds lighter, but I think he's lost some of his game. Tell you what, it's lost his interior defense because the Nuggets in the bubble have gone over the total 11 out of 12 times. They're not playing a whole lot of defense, and Donovan Mitchell is lighting it up. Tough loss for them. They had to tie it up the last game of Game 4. I'm looking for kind of a beaten down Denver team.
Okay.
I like the Jazz tonight -2.5.
Okay.
It went from 4 to 2.5, so actually a little Nuggets money. But man, Mitchell and then Conley's return was great. You wondered about that, how we blend in with after going home from the bubble for a little bit. He was on fire. So I love the Jazz to close it out, man. They are one of the big surprises in the postseason so far.
Jimmy Ott, Game Time with Jimmy Ott's coming up following us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page, you can watch it. Thank you, Otter.
All right, guys. Y'all be good.
We'll see. That is the one and only, the incomparable, often incomprehensible Jimmy Ott.
Heat in the finals.
You just say that because you're a
finals.
Miami guy.
No, I really, I that is correct.
Yeah.
But I've been watching them.
I actually agree with you.
Them son of a guns play ball, bro.
I actually agree with you.
And they look like the one team. Well, not the one team. The Lakers do too. But they don't look like they have no ego. They look like they like each other. Hey, Heat, baby.
Rohan Davey. Moose, what did you learn today?
That was on the spot. Rohan thinks you won Man of the Year.
It was Man of the Year, man.
Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned Riley Smith used to pitch at LSU.
Matt?
There's a word called bollywop, and I'm going to start using it. We're getting out of here. Y'all have a great night. See ya.
Why you ask me what I learned?
AFR. What did you learn today, Ro?
That, what's this called?
Sazerac Rye.
Sazerac is in New Orleans.
Yeah, you did. You did learn that today. I'll let you take this bottle home, too. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com. You got any tattoos?
No.
Never got a tattoo, huh?
No.
You know anybody that got a tattoo that really regretted it?
I know a lot of people that got tattoos.
So you know what they should do? They should go to the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. You want to know why?
But do they really remove it like good?
So, Pico Way laser tattoo removal. The most advanced tattoo removal technology in the world. Fewer treatments, virtually pain-free, and for all of this month, 20% off. So today's the 25th, meaning you got 6 more days. You want to take advantage of this? Better do it now. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.